Wedding Impossible is a new rom-com K-drama that is based on a webtoon. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another review on the Review Garden. Dohan and Jihan are brothers, and there's three other siblings, but I believe Dohan and Jihan are whole siblings. And it seems like their mother and father passed away, which caused them to come live with, the grandfather. When they did the flashback scene in episode 2, the father the father of the other children, I'm assuming is not the grandfather. I could be wrong, but from what I got from the beginning of episode 2, the father of the other three kids, is not the grandfather's child. So I'm assuming that it's the mom that ties them all, right? So in present time, there has to be a successor for the grandfather's company. However, the grandfather doesn't want to choose from the other three. So Dohan and Jihan are considered illegitimate children, right? In this drama. He doesn't want to give it to the other three because one one has a DUI, another one got in a fight, and then I think the son, he did something. So the grandfather wants to give it to someone who didn't get in trouble. But he wants to give the company to Dohan, right? He doesn't want to give it to Jihan. There was a reason why he doesn't want to give it to him. He's like, Jihan is his blemish. So I don't know what he meant by that. So he wants Dohan to take over the company, and he was going to announce it at his birthday party. And he wants him to also have an arranged marriage with, the daughter of another group. I think it was Taeyong group, with the daughter of the Taeyong group. But the kicker is Dohan doesn't want to get married in an arranged marriage because he is gay. 5 years ago, I don't know if the grandfather found out or not, but the grandfather shipped him to New York. I mean, that's what I got from episode 1, that the grandfather made him go to New York. So maybe the grandfather found out that he's gay, but his brother doesn't know that. And there are different people who are sending, um, photographers behind them to take photos. So while he was in New York, someone took a picture of him in bed with another guy, but they don't see the face of the person. They only see them laying in the bed, and Dohan was sitting up. So, like, everyone is thinking that it's a woman, right? So, what he wants to do is his best friend, Hajong, he wants her to pretend that he's going to marry her. Ajong is an aspiring actress, so she wants to become, a famous actress where she can live comfortably with her career, right? Um, she hasn't caught a break yet. It's been 5 years, and she's been working as a stunt double. She's gotten small roles. She hasn't really gotten that big role yet, right? So at the end of episode one, Dohan asked her, like, do you want to play the biggest role of your life? And I'll give you 2 billion won for you to pretend to be my wife. And like for 3 years, right? So this is where the wedding impossible comes in. Do Jihan doesn't want him getting married to Ajong, right? Because he wants Dohan to take over the company, which I don't understand why. And I kind of mentioned it before. Even Dohan was like, if you want the spot so badly, why don't you just ask grandfather for it? And he's like, well, you already know why I can't take over the company. And I'm like, I'm like, why not? Right? And another thing to note about Jihan is that he currently works in his grandfather's company, but he started from the bottom up, right? So there was a blind um, recruitment. So he applied so that he could start from the bottom. He also is pretending to be the secretary. Like him and his secretary, when they're at work, they kind of switch roles, right? So the secretary is the boss and he is the secretary. But like when they get out of the building and they go back to the streets, they switch places and the secretary is now driving the car. And another thing to note about Dohan and Ajang's relationship is that there are things they have kept from each other, right? I think she knows that he's gay, but she didn't know that he had a lot of money. So that night at the end of episode 1, that's when she figured out, whoa, you're a chabol. You have a lot of money. Well, your grandfather has a lot of money, you know? Because he always acted like he was broke. Because even when she picked him up at the airport, she gave him money for food. So it's going to be interesting how she interacts with with him as we start episode 2. Hajong is not too happy with Dohan for the fact that, he lied to her about having money. So she hasn't talked to him in a long time, in a while. But, his brother, Jihan, has visited her multiple times to like try to persuade her to not marry him. Um, so one time they met and he kept saying like, I don't want to get drunk with you because I don't know you, blah blah blah. But he still ended up drinking because she was like, she's gonna call the brother. So the grandpa, on the other hand, found out about Hajong, right? So I guess this will clarify that maybe he doesn't know that Dohan is gay, but they showed you a scene 5 years ago when Dohan was explaining to Ajung like why he went to New York 5 years ago. They showed you that apparently his boyfriend at the time got beat up and he just like ran away. So the grandpa found out, that he brought a girl to his party and that this is the girl he's planning on marrying instead of the arranged marriage, right? So the grandpa and his assistant went to her house to try to meet her, but she's drunk. And then coming around the corner behind her is Jihan, who is also drunk, right? So like they're talking, drunk walking, and she's like, I'm gonna take you home. So they're like, and this is what gets me. You're waiting for her. At least turn off your car and not leave your lights on, right? So they get into the grandfather's car thinking that it's it's a taxi, right? So the grandfather and the assistant end up taking them home. And in the car, they're talking about, certain things. Like he's saying his grandfather never liked him and he doesn't know why. Um, and she was saying, the reason Dohan wants to marry me is because I'm the only one he can talk to about certain things. So like they're having this drunk conversation. It's hilarious because the grandfather is like listening to what they're saying, and the whole time I'm like, girl, control your mouth. If he doesn't know, you do not want to be the one to reveal that information while drunk, right? Because even though she's mad at him, she's never going to forgive herself for giving up that information. And the whole time, too, like the grandfather moved to the front seat. He's trying to kind of like hide his face so that Jihan doesn't see that it's actually him and, ask, why were you in front of the girl's house? Meanwhile, there's also a lot of stuff going down at Adjung's house, right? So there's her mom and her father, and then there's her sister who already got married and already has a child. So it seems like the sister's husband convinced the father to invest in stocks. And, he invested in the LJ Group stock, which is the one that Dohan is supposed to take over, right? So, but because of the grandfather's announcement and people finding out that, he's the illegitimate grandson, the stocks have been going down. So the father ended up losing a lot of money. And then, when the mother found out what money he even used for the stocks, she got mad. Then, in an effort to try to, take away some of the blame for her husband, she persuaded her sister to kind of push up um, the father getting implants. So the father's birthday is next month, his 60th birthday, and they were going to get him hair implants for his birthday. So she was like, let's push it up. But to the when they went to the place, she didn't have, well, she had money because Jihan gave her some money, but she didn't want to use it. So they didn't so the father didn't end up getting the starting the treatments for the hair implants. So now the father, he's feeling some type of way about the whole situation and about her. So the grandfather take didn't take them didn't take them where they wanted to go. The grandfather took them to his house. So they woke up at the grandfather's house, and they're eating dinner with, well, breakfast with him, and he calls Dohan to come over, and Dohan is like confused, like, what are you guys doing here? And those two, they don't even remember what happened last night and what they're doing over there. And the grandfather starts asking her questions like, what is it that only you two can talk about, that only he entrusts you with? and she's like, okay, okay, stop. I'm not gonna marry him, and so on and so on. And he's like, so the relationship is that easy that you can just cut it off like that? She's like, uh, yeah, being friend, yeah. So that's pretty much the end of it, and they walked out. I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't understand why Jihan is still hanging around her, right? She already told the grandpa straightforward that she's not going to marry Dohan, right? So after speaking with the girl, I don't know her name yet, the girl that Dohan is supposed to marry, um, sh well, the girl that the grandfather wants him to marry. He was like, "Do you do you still have friends in the entertainment business?" So he used her contacts to get um Ha Jung a lead role into a new drama, right? I don't even know why you're even doing that. Why are you even doing that, right? So she was excited that she finally got her big break, right? Or so she thought. So when she went to the bathroom, there were people outside talking about how the current lead actress got her role through nepotism. And I'm like, I thought nepotism was when your parents, you get a role because of your parents. So nepotism also works if you get it through friends. Um, so with that, you know, she wasn't happy that she got the role like that. So so she she left the set, right? So Jihan goes to the set, asks for her. They're like, she left. And then when he goes after her, she starts telling him like she doesn't like the fact that he did that because now she hates herself more than she hates him. And oh, even though she doesn't want to do it because she got it through nepotism, she still wants to do it because it's her lifelong dream, blah blah blah. And even her parents finally texted her, "Good job on landing a role. I knew my daughter could do it." Stuff like that. So she got so mad at him that now she called Dohan and is like, I'm going to, hey, I'll do it. I'll marry you. And I'm like, if you had just left, if, and Jihan, his face is like, oh, no, no. If he had just left things alone, then, you know, she wouldn't have said yes to marrying him. So, this is pretty much the first two episodes, and we're kind of getting a gist of how each character is and what exactly is the story that's being told. I did look on Google, there will be a total of 12 episodes, so maybe it will probably be cut short. Hopefully, it's not filled with a lot of misunderstandings and things move along very quickly. And this wraps up our journey on the Review Garden. Thank you for joining me today as we explored this drama. If you enjoyed this reaction and review, please remember to subscribe for more insightful videos. Don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback helps our channel grow. As always, I'm truly grateful for your support and for joining me on this journey on the Review Garden. Until next time, and happy listening. Bye.